Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to all of you who are viewing at home. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, be it on Facebook or on LinkedIn. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in because today we are streaming on two platforms instead of one, on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And as per our past episodes, we actually do have different topics that we talk about. And today's topic is actually about connecting with remote speakers. Okay, and with me right here, I actually have the director of Spring Forest Studio, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hi, hello, hi everyone.
Yes. So today's topic about connecting with remote speakers. Michael, over at Spring Forest Studio, what kind of I would say ways do we have to connect with a remote speaker?
Well, today there are many platforms and software that we can use. Some of them are like the likes of WebEx, Teams, Skype, or Zoom. These are all available platforms that we can use to bring in remote speakers into our studio itself. But however, having said that, we prefer another platform called vMix Call, which is actually an embedded video conferencing system in our vMix video mixer itself. And that is usually our preferred way, and we can actually connect up to 8 remote speakers.
Okay. So the platform is called vMix Call, where people can just, I would say, dial in and they can connect virtually.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so because like you mentioned as well, there's many platforms out there. People, I believe, corporate companies as well, or even friends and families, when they want to connect with each other, they use platforms such as like Zoom, Google Meets, or Cisco WebEx, Microsoft Teams, etc. And what's the difference between these platforms and vMix Call? What are the pros and cons of each of it, and why do we actually use vMix instead of the rest of it?
Well, video meetings like Zoom or WebEx, they are actually meant for a video meeting where they can actually connect a large crowd of people. And because they are actually designed to connect to a large crowd of people, they need to be very economical in terms of their bandwidth. So usually they will sacrifice the quality of the image in order to cater for quantity. vMix Call, on the other hand, because it's limited to only 8, and is actually connecting directly into our mixer itself. So in that sense, it's a little bit more efficient. And it's a little bit more integrated, as that we don't have to pin the participants and then capture them into our vMix. In vMix Call itself, each user itself or each remote speakers are connected as a single so-called video feed, so that we can actually have more flexibility to actually put them into picture-in-picture format, or we can actually expand to them in full screen. And also because it's actually based on WebRTC, it is able to be adapt to the user's bandwidth. For example, if we have a user that is connecting to our vMix while they're in Singapore, enjoying a good bandwidth, our system is able to ramp up the bandwidth and then able to receive his feed in high quality. In a higher bit rate, yes. So if the person, let's say, for example, is connecting from Europe or from US with a bandwidth that is less than ideal, vMix Call is able to adaptively so-called reduce the bit rate that is required. So that will actually make sure that he will still be at the best effort connectivity. And vMix Call also put audio priority over video. So we do have cases where if the connection is really very bad, especially when he's using Wi-Fi, the audio will be given priority. So we were able to hear the person in spite of, let's say, the video is a little bit jitterish or a little bit lag, but at least the audio is able to stream through.
I understand. Because I would say when they're presenting, in a way, whatever they're saying is more important, I would say. Because even if you can see them but you can't hear them, there's no point in looking at them. But if you're able to hear them, it's like listening to a radio podcast. You can at least get the information delivered.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Then how do you actually, I would say, ensure that these things are of good quality? Because you mentioned that you can on vMix you can actually bump up the video quality and etc. But on their end, is there anything that they have to do to ensure that they are able to deliver the best quality of video and audio to you?
Yes, from our experience, I would say that more than 50% of the time, all these problems can be fixed, or the quality can be improved if the user is actually connected to their router through a cable network, meaning that they actually have a Cat6 cable connecting their laptop to the router. Most of the problem is because they are using Wi-Fi, and as everybody knows, Wi-Fi spectrum is actually a bit spotty. There's no guarantee a good connections, and sometimes if you have like other users in the same household or in the same office as using the Wi-Fi, you will actually be competing with them on the bandwidth.
Yes.
So we usually recommend that, connect if possible. They either sit very close to the wireless router or they are connected to the router using a LAN cable, and actually solve, I would say, more than 50% of the problem.
So because if they connect via, I would say, a wired internet, the LAN cable, it's a direct connection instead of a wireless one where it is not as stable as compared to a wired connection.
Yes.
I think for people who are in a household, like you mentioned, they probably would have experienced it when they walk to the furthest end of their house, like probably the washroom or at the doorstep where the connection is bad. So that is where wired internet can come in to replace it, I would say.
Correct.
Okay. So, for vMix Core itself, like you mentioned, is it possible for us to take a look at a sample of how a vMix Core look like? Is it the same, I would say, result as using Zoom, etc.? Because people are familiar with Zoom. You see, not a lot of people know about vMix Core. So maybe we can show our viewers as well.
Yes. Right now, I'm actually connected to the studio using vMix Core. So, can you display my? Yes, there you go. So you can actually see that I'm actually using my laptop in front of me, and I'm actually connected to the studio using vMix Core. So vMix Core doesn't support virtual background, but here I'm actually using a third-party tools called XSplit, and basically that actually will replace the virtual background, and then we will send that feed into the browser, and the browser will actually send the feed back into vMix itself. So this is actually one way that we actually connect with the remote speakers.
Okay. So we have vMix and Zoom, etc. But vMix is one of it that you actually recommend instead of the rest because you'll be able to control the internet, the audio, the video, etc.
Yes, to some extent we are able to manage it, and it also gives us a back end so-called understanding on how is their network performing. So sometimes we do see that, for example, if the user's network is no good, we can actually manually adjust the bandwidth that we are sending our feedback to them, so that it will give them more so-called bandwidth for them to connect to us and send their video to us.
Okay, great. Okay, and of course, earlier on, I actually said that there's there's a lot of creative ways that we can connect with our remote speakers, and I'm gonna show you guys one now. As you guys can see over here, Michael is actually less than 3 meters away from me, but in the real world, okay, let us take a look at the raw feed. Michael's not here. There's nobody here at all. Okay, can we cut into our roving camera? And can I trouble the roving camera to come over this side? Okay, as you guys can see, I'm in a studio all alone. Michael is not beside me. Okay, right over here, okay, is where you can see where I'll be able to see the final feed. Okay, and right in front of me, okay, is where I actually set up a monitor, okay, where I'll be able to see Michael right in front of me. And as I speak, okay, I'm actually looking at him and he's looking at me. I'm talking to him. I'm not talking to the air. I'm not talking to, a camera, which sometimes certain speakers feel uncomfortable with that. Okay, so having a monitor in front of me with whoever whom I'm conversing with, right, it actually makes the speaker a lot more comfortable, and it makes the whole flow very, very natural. So this is a way that I would say it's pretty innovative, okay, that Springforward Studio, we actually managed to do this where we have one speaker in studio and the other speaker remote from another place in the world, okay, bring him here less than 3 meters virtually beside me in the same ground, okay, to talk about the same topic, attend the same event, to speak for your event participants. So I think this is really, really interesting. And if you're looking at to plan any virtual events, or if you know you are going to have a remote speaker in your virtual event and you think the normal Zoom, etc., it's very conventional, okay, this is a solution that you can consider. And over here at Springforward Studio, we are definitely able to do it because we have just done it for you guys. Okay, just a great example. Okay, so if you're planning for anything, Springforward Studio is here just for you. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Derek. This is Michael over here. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.